In this little video, we're going to make a drawing on a Google Doc using the Google Drawing function. So here's my task. I'm going to draw a particle drawing of a mixture of two gases, and I want to insert the drawing here. So the first thing I do is make sure my cursor is in the place where I want the drawing to go. Then I go up to the toolbar up above and click on Insert, Drawing, and I'm going to make a new drawing. I do not have this already done. I can't recall it from my drive. So when I do a new drawing, I get this little board that I can draw things on. Now I want a particle drawing of gases, and so I want to draw a container that they're in, and so I can use the shape function, and in the shape function I can choose lots of different things, lots of different shapes. For a container, I just want a regular old box, and I'm going to make it pretty big so that it's easy for me to control the little particles that I'm going to be drawing. I can make it smaller later on after I finish drawing it. I don't want this blue background, so I can go where it says fill color. I'm going to choose transparent, and there's now no color inside the box. All right, I need some particles, so I'm going to use shapes for particles. And for oxygen, I remember I've got CO2 and H2. I think it makes sense to use some circles. So I can make these circles as big or as little as I want to. I don't want to make them too small, but I also don't want to make them too big. And so I'm going to need more than one circle. So on your Chromebook, you can use the control function, hold that control button and use D. Here on my Mac, I'm going to use Command D, and I'm going to make some extra copies of this oxygen because I think I'm going to need more than one. So one of the molecules I have is CO2, so I'm going to need two O's together. So I'm going to just move them around. I can move each one individually to wherever I want to put them. And now I'm going to need some particles for the carbon in CO2. So I'm going to choose a different shape. In this case, I will choose a triangle. I'm going to need two more triangles. And those triangles go together with the oxygen molecules. Now, I could make these particles different colors, and that would look nice on the computer, but I want to keep in mind that if I ever wanted to print this document on the black and white printers we have at school, that I would need to be able to tell the difference between the particles, which is why I'm choosing different shapes. Okay, carbon is triangles, oxygen is circles. I now need a different shape for the hydrogen atoms that I want. I can choose any shape I want. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to choose squares for hydrogen. I need some copies of these squares. And hydrogen has the formula H2, so it's two squares together. Now this is a little bit touchy. Sometimes you have to mess around to get them to line up just exactly where you want them to go. But there you are. Okay, so there's my molecules. I've used shapes for atoms. I've put them together to make molecules. I've got two different kinds of molecules, CO2 and H2. Now, these are gases. I want to show them moving around, so I can draw lines using my Google Draw program, and I want to use some arrows to show that these things are moving around. And so I can choose from a bunch of different kinds of lines. I'm choosing arrows. These things are all going in different directions. If I make a mistake, I can just go back to where I was. If I choose an arrow, I'm going to have it go in this direction for this one. I'm using these long arrows because they're gases. They're moving around and they're all going in different directions. All right, and so that's how you can use lines. And I also am going to put some text on here too. In fact, I'm going to make another copy of a circle. Let's see how I can do that. So I can make a sort of a key for this. So I'm going to actually do that down here outside of the box. So the circles we know are oxygen. I can just type that in my box. And the squares are hydrogen. And the triangles are carbon. Every time I want to type a word, I put in a text box and just go ahead and type. And I can make that bigger and smaller. The text function's a little bit finicky. It doesn't always show up inside of the box. You can see it didn't right there. And so I might have to move it up a little bit sort of to get the line up with my shapes. All right, there's my drawing. I'm happy with it. All I have to do is press save and close, and it will send it right to the place in the document where I wanted it. If I'm in the document and I want to make the drawing bigger or smaller, all I have to do is drag one of the corners of the box and I can fit it right in. And that's it. That's all there is to making a drawing in Google Docs. Over and out.